Hey, what's up, everybody? Got a new build project. You know, I can't help myself. I'm a bike geek. Most of y'all are. And I love bikes. I got inspired last year, or I guess it was this year. There's an individual on Instagram. I think his Instagram name is like Notches, Natchas, or something like that. I want to say the guy's name's Christian. I don't know him personally, but he did Mid-South, built up a really cool Santa Cruz Stigmata as a fixed gear gravel bike. And I'd been toying around with the idea anyway, and then I saw his and I was like, that's dope. That's what I want to do. I am going to guess that he ran into a few problems after he rode his bike. Part of those problems probably revolved around an eccentric bottom bracket and a carbon shell, because I've built one in the past for a single speed and the carbon shell can't hold up all the ways, depending on the bike, of course, to the torque force that the eccentric bottom bracket has to be under. So I think I've got that part figured out. Finding the parts, who makes a crankset, who makes a hub set, things like that. So putting all the parts together has been a little tricky. And I wanted it to be really nice because if I'm going to ride this thing, especially if I want to do big rides on it, I want it to be nice. So I'm going to use my old Aspero frame that I liked quite a bit, honestly. I got some new parts, got some new hubs. I've already laced one of the wheels here. I'm going to lace up the other one. And let's get started. All right, so I got to be able to hang the bike, so it's as good a time as any to talk about this. This is the Ergon, I guess you would call it suspension seat post. It's supposed to work a little bit like a leaf spring. I don't know if you can see that. I don't really know what the setup procedure on this is yet. I haven't read the instructions. Ergon was nice enough to send this to me to try out. I do run the Cane Creek Thud Buster on my other bike. If you watch that video, you saw me put that on there. I'm very interested in this because it's very lightweight, and it should be enough suspension, hopefully. So I'll try to let you know what I think after I give it a try, let you know how it feels. For now, I'm not going to set it up yet. I'm just going to put it in the bike so I can hang the bike from the seat post. All right, I got my front brake hose ran. I'm going to mark my front brake hose with the silver Sharpie. All right, here we go. All right, so I am doing something a little unconventional, which is making this bike an integrated headset when it wasn't designed to be ran as such, and everything is going swimmingly well. You know, I bought Cervelo's integrated stem and some other pieces, but I wanted to run a brake that didn't have a shift lever on it, so I bought the TRP brakes, which are real cool. They have the Drillium levers. I did not know they were going to come with quick connect pieces on them, and they didn't send me enough banjo bolts to redo everything. So what I'm going to have to do, because I can't run these through there, is I'm going to have to shorten this piece of hose so that these will tuck on the bottom side of the channel so that I can connect the hose there. So a little extra work needed. That's what's interesting about these projects. So sometimes these types of things pop up. So I'll get to work on that. All right, hopefully I'm getting this right. Sometimes you just have to go for it. But I know I want it hidden under the bar tape because I think these connectors are cool, except in my scenario, they're really dumb because I have a fully integrated bike, so a quick connect is not useful. So I'm just gonna hide them under the bar tape. And hopefully I got the position correct. It's my bike, so I'm willing to take a risk. We'll see if we got it right. All right. Already did this side, so I'm just kind of mocking it up roughly the same spot. And I'll set my hose length with what is remaining coming out of the bike, left over from bolting the brake calipers to the frame, because I've already got it ran through the fork, through the frame, up through the head tube, through the stem, and that distance cannot change. So I'm going to set these and then bring the hoses to these. Fingers crossed. Alright, I'm just going to mock these bars up loosely so that I can roughly get an idea of where my cable position needs to be. So Cervelo is pretty cool because they plan their stem and handlebar integration together so that there's space in the grooves to make it integrated and seamless without having those cables sticking out, without actually having to put them inside the handlebar, which is pretty genius, honestly, because it gets the same job done of getting it tidy and clean and aero without having to actually fish them through the bars. So kudos to the engineer that figured that one out and saved us all about an hour per bike build. So I know that I got my cables on the correct sides because I did mark my front brake cable with a silver Sharpie. which is coming out here to my front lever because we're here in the US, so that's on the left side for me. Yeah, here we go. And I'll get the position figured out once I get the wheels on it and get it set on the floor. And before the bike's completely done, of course, I'll get the level out, make sure it's all good. All right, locked up. All right, so I needed to call in some help for this one, and this is, for anybody who doesn't know, this is one of my best friends, Dwayne Norwell. Say hi, Dwayne.
Hi, Dwayne.
So Dwayne and I used to be roommates for a couple of years. We would work in the garage for hours, up on hours, all through the night sometimes. He ended up being a frame builder. I own a bike shop. His shop is a service shop and frame building shop. It's called Scissortail Cycles. He's on Instagram. Don't ask him to do too much digital stuff. He just moved from a rotary frame last week. But he's gonna help me make a sleeve for the bottom bracket. And we've got a damaged frame here that we're gonna test fit so that this can be epoxied into the frame that I'm building so that the eccentric cups will be pressing on an aluminum tube instead of the carbon shell. So hopefully this fixes the issue of having slippage or carbon crushing whenever we need to add a lot of torque to the eccentric cups. So I'll get you some clips of what we're gonna do to make sure this is the right size and to make sure we get a good bond. Just real quick, this is a frame that he's building for our other roommate at the time. His name is Eric, a good buddy of ours. And he's getting Dwayne to build him a new gravel bike right now. It looks like it's coming along very nicely. So can't wait to see that when it's done. Follow him on Instagram, and then that way you can see it when it's finished. All right, so
we're gonna cut this to final cut size because I marked it at 46 or whatever the width of that was with a scribe, and I cut to the side of it so that we can make this flat, just like we do a bottom bracket.
All right. so Dwayne's got it cut down, chased, faced. Sorry, just faced. And we got some slots in it now. The idea behind this is that it'll hold the epoxy in place and kind of pocket that epoxy. We don't think we're going to need it, but we want to put it in just in case.
One shot, if we don't get it, death. Drop your end down just a little bit. There you go.
Look at that.
Let's go that way. There we go.
Look at that. Amazing.
Bam!
Not cool, bro. Not cool. All right, so I've been playing around with the Seatpost. I did try to find the installation instructions on Ergon's website and had no luck. But as I go through the setup process, it's pretty cool. So you can go ahead and clamp your seat rails down for what you think the fore and aft is going to be. And I've already put this in my bike to kind of check what angle I want it to be at. It's two pieces, so you can see that they move independently of each other. And what's really cool is that if you look really closely, it'll actually say as you turn it what the angle is. So I know that I want mine on negative 1.5 to 2. So I'm going to set it about right there. And then once it's set where you want it, you tighten this down. I think it says max 7 Newton meters. So I'm going to go ahead and set that now, put it in the Seatpost. I got it put in. Check this out. This is pretty cool. It actually has quite a bit of movement to it. So not quite as much as the Cane Creek, but it's definitely a significant amount. So pretty excited to try that. All right, I'm gonna do a little test fitting now. I did a little before off camera and I had some binding going on. So I grinded down this outer cup because I believe what was happening is the chainring, lock ring for the chainring was rubbing on the outer part of this cup right here. So I just knocked about a millimeter off of it, maybe a half mil, because it wasn't much. So fingers crossed. Oh, I think that it's going to be enough to actually clear now. I knew when I started this project with this BB right bottom bracket that I was going to be very limited on space, and after doing the calculations, I was right. I knew that it would be somewhere around a half a millimeter to a millimeter extra, which is exactly what I'm seeing here. But hopefully it'll play nice. I'll be able to ride this bike.